You did. Hello, everyone. And Ryan and Brooke and all the music, wow, there cannot be can't be a better, more perfect way to start. You've actually made major points for my talk, but before I can get to those, we could all just go home, but thank you. I've never heard Ryan sing in person before. I'm telling you, I feel the Spirit move when he sings. I want to stand up and go, I believe. Yeah, I believe. So I'm going to start with this quick little 15-second video. Welcome to Antarctica. And I had the fabulous opportunity to go to Antarctica in December, and it was just a phenomenal trip. But for the 6 or 8 months before the trip, I had to spend almost all of my time working on overcoming anxiety because I was very, very scared to go on this trip. The only way to get to Antarctica is to pass through something called the Drake Passage, which is the most notoriously scary ocean passage in the entire world. I still can't believe I did it, but we did it. I survived. It was a dream trip, and it was just phenomenal. What's really interesting, though, is both Bill and I have tried to describe to ourselves, each other, and even other people about what made this trip so phenomenal, and we can't come up with any way to describe it. When you just take Antarctica on the surface, it's frozen, barren, remote wilderness covered in ice and snow, and the main inhabitants are penguins. I don't even like cold weather. Why did I find this trip so extraordinary? But I want to go back to the penguins to help me explain. Here's a little picture of the penguins. The penguins are everywhere. Oh my gosh, they are everywhere. And they are so cute. You're not allowed to get within 6 feet of them because they rule the land. But I have to tell you, literally speaking, scientifically speaking, penguins are the champion poopers in the animal kingdom. And their waste is everywhere. It's a slimy purple-brown stuff that you can see in that picture. It's almost impossible to not step in it. It is totally impossible not to smell it. It is the most foul odor I have ever smelled in my entire life, and I have a really strong sense of smell. Literally, it makes people nauseous, even makes them vomit. It wasn't that bad for me, but they are so cute, and they are so inspiring to watch. Nothing sausage, and despite that terrible smell, somehow Antarctica just stole my heart, and it catapulted my spirit to new heights. The only words I've been able to find for Antarctica, and beyond every earthly identity I ever thought I had, even just getting there made me go beyond my identity, because you can't describe yourself as somebody who's fought anxiety for 60 years and go across the Drake Passage sober, which I did. So today I want to talk about how we can take those lessons and put them into our real life. For me, travel is great, but if I get to travel 2 weeks a year, that's wonderful. But if my happiness and awe and wonder only comes in 2 weeks out of the year, then I'm losing something. So I work really hard to take whatever I experience in my travel and then apply it to my mundane, everyday life. I want those uplifted spiritual states that I experienced in Antarctica. And I can't take you to Antarctica, but hopefully I can share some truth with you this morning that will help all of us be able to get some of that sense of wonder and awe. So Bonnie, I'm going to start now with Abraham Heschel. He's a famous rabbi and philosopher, and he says it this way: the beginning of our happiness lies in the understanding that life without wonder, life without radical amazement is not worth living. So get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything's incredible. Never treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. To be spiritual is to be amazed. So let's go back to the beginning. He's telling us here a secret to happiness is to get up and know that whatever you're experiencing, regardless of appearances, there's something extraordinary, there's something divine, there's something incredible there. So don't treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed. That to me is a way, wow, that sentence. To be spiritual is to be amazed. Absolutely amazed. And that's why part of the reason what Brooke and the singers sang and talked about is so perfect. How can we be amazed? The amazement starts at being amazed at who we are as God created us. So this quality of spiritual amazement, how we can get more of it, that's what I'm going to talk about. And if you know me, I always start with questions. Maybe I was a friend of Socrates in my earlier life. I love questions because at least they can get us thinking and heading in the right direction. So let me just share a few with you. Am I living with a sense of wonder and amazement? I know quite a few of you. I know some of you are struggling with cancer. I know some of you have just gone through deaths in your family. I know some of you are going through divorce. I know some of the pain that you're going through. There is still wonder and amazement for all of us, no matter what we're going through. Am I living in awe and gratitude, regardless of my circumstances? If I'm not, that doesn't make me a bad person, but I can ask why not, and what can I do to change that? Heschel gives us a big clue in that first quote. He tells us not to take life too casually and never take anything for granted. So here's a couple more questions. Are we treating life casually? We treating life casually? Busted. Are we taking things or people for granted, ourselves included? Busted again. I certainly make that mistake. Maybe you do as well. And again, nothing to judge ourselves about, nothing to worry about. There is a remedy. There is a cure for this situation once we can address the underlying problem. So I want to go back to Heschel for a second. He cautions us about not missing the divine enrichment of life. And to help make his point, Bonnie, can I have this next quote? Excuse me. He quotes from the Baal Shem Tov. If you don't know him, he's a great Jewish mystic from the 1700s. The world is filled with spiritual radiance. But a small hand held against the eye hides it all. The world is filled with spiritual radiance, filled with amazement. But we have this little habit of a small hand that hides that radiance from us. Now, there are a gazillion ways we could describe that small hand. Today, I'm going to focus on one very specific thing. I'm going to talk about the small hand that hides this radiance being our limited beliefs about ourselves and our God. If I see myself in a limited way, if I see myself in a way that isn't true, I cannot see the amazement, the awe, the radiance. Worse than not seeing it, I can't be that radiance. Do you realize that every great teacher has taught us that we need to be that radiance, be that luminosity on the world? Well, if I can't see that because I'm so busy putting myself down, I'll never get there. So like the lyrics of that song that Ryan just sang, I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Can anybody relate to that? You have voices in your head that say you're not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. I'm almost 70 years old and I'm still working on that. And I love that song and I can belt that song out. I know it by heart. I still have work to do. That's okay. That's why we're here. But if that sounds familiar, it's because there's a hurting, blind place within us. We beat ourselves up. We take ourselves for granted. We think we're unworthy or unloved, or worse yet, unlovable. Furthermore, those ego lies tell us that if there's a God at all, it's so distant and uncaring and not helpful that we can't even trust that sweet spirit to be our unfailing guide and companion and Lord throughout this journey home to love. Those are lies that keep us feeling small and limited. And anything that keeps us feeling small and limited is going to make it impossible for us to see that radiance and to live in that amazement, which is to be spiritual. We all are here, I think, because maybe the coffee's good, but we're here because we want to be spiritual. And to be spiritual is to be amazed. But Lauren Daigle, if we could have this next quote, Bonnie, please. She contrasts those ego lies with the truth. So she's saying, Spirit, remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. You say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. Have you ever felt down and out and you feel totally unworthy? Spirit is saying, I love you. And I'm feeling, ugh. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. You know that? You say I'm held when I'm falling short. When I'm falling short, I beat myself up. When I'm falling short, the Lord is just saying, let me hold you. Let me cry with you. Let me laugh with you. Let me heal you. Let me comfort you. Let me nurture you. Let me show you who you are in my eyes. This is a song on the radio. And when I don't belong, oh, you, Lord, say I'm yours. And this is where Ryan, oh man, I'm a believer. I believe what you say of me, you, Spirit. The only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you, Spirit, I find my worth. In you, Spirit, I find my identity. Those lyrics just move me so profoundly, and I want to use them today to help all of us be able to take steps in that direction. Is that a direction you all want to go in? Doesn't that sound fun? Yeah, I'm so glad I got a yay for that, because you don't know what's coming next. This is the tough love quote. This is from Eric Butterworth, a really famous Unity minister. Most of us as students of truth are overread and underdone. Myself, and I teach for a living. Come take my classes. I'll get you more, hopefully not overread. But it doesn't mean don't learn. It doesn't mean don't do that. But most of us get so lost in our heads and our intellects and our minds and our seminars. We don't want to be overread and underdone. We must realize that the goal should not be to accumulate more metaphysical knowledge. The goal is to take that first step in the direction of our dreams, to walk the talk. Therefore, in your quest for truth, don't stop short with simply being entertained. Don't stop short with simply being entertained. So many people, this is a real detour for them. They just make me feel good, lady. Don't tell me any hard truths. Just tell me what I want to hear, especially if you want me to put any money in the bucket. Make my ego feel good. Don't stop short for that. Don't be pacified by peace of mind platitudes. Truth should disturb you. Truth should challenge you. It should ignite sparks within you. It should lead you to release your inner power. And I'm not going to release my inner power by staying stuck behind my tiny little ego hands. You can awaken your potential for limitless life, even if it's been lying dormant for years. Truth should disturb us. Truth is meant to wake us up. Big quote from the Bible, the truth will set you free. But first you have to know the truth. You can't follow the truth if you don't know it. And to know it means you have to be willing to get uncomfortable, because some song or some lady or some whatever some book is telling you you might want to up your thinking or change it a little bit or move in a different direction. We want to release that inner power, and truth is what will take us there. This is not a time for self-pity. This is a time to get our engines fully going by saying, yes, Spirit, I believe. I am willing to move towards the love that I am and that you're telling me. So let's go back and look at one very specific way that we're going to do this. Trade our ego lies in for what Spirit says. Again, we want to release the little concept of who we are, and we want to be like Lauren Daigle, where she says, remind me who I am. Spirit, please let me see myself through your eyes, because what you think of me is what's important now. Is that what we're doing? Busted for me. Are we believing always what Spirit says about us? Are you kidding me? I don't. Maybe you should stand up here instead of me. If you're expecting perfection, that's not what's happening. And anytime somebody comes with a spouse, they have truth serum right there because he can tell you the truth. Is what Spirit's saying about me, is that's what determining my self-concepts? Is that what's determining my moods, my thoughts, my choices in life, my actions? Where do we find our identity? For most of us, it's not what Spirit's saying. Where do we find our worth? For most of us, it's not from Spirit. Maybe it's what the mirror says, or your friend says, or the bank account says, or the doctor says. God bless doctors, but they can't give you worth. Ministers can't give you worth. Nobody can give you worth. That's internal to you. Do we even think we have any worth? If we're being honest with ourselves, we'll be very humble and realize we're often listening to our ego self, not to our God self. So I'm going to call us on this as well. Can I have the next quote from A Course in Miracles? To accept your littleness is arrogant, because it means you believe your valuation of yourself is right and God is wrong. Stop right there. If you believe what you think about yourself as opposed to what Spirit is saying, Course in Miracles is saying you're being arrogant, Jean Marie. You're thinking you're smarter than God. I didn't say that. You can be mad at Course in Miracles, not me. To accept yourself as God created you can't be arrogance, because it denies arrogance. So just who are we as God created us? What is the divine truth of who we are? Look at this next one. Whenever, still Course in Miracles, whenever you question your value, say, God is incomplete without me. Spirit is incomplete without you. I don't mean you, the group. I mean you, Brooke, you, Dave, you, Julie, you, Patty, you, Susan, you, Lynn, you, Peter. Every single one of you. God is incomplete without you. The truth about you is so lofty that nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. Nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. So why are we monkeying around with all these stupid, insane, inane, mean, cruel comments to ourselves? The truth about you is so lofty. Nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. You are altogether irreplaceable in God. And I wish I knew every single one of your names, because I would take the time and go around and say it. You are altogether irreplaceable in God. That's who you are. That's what Spirit is saying about you. And that is awesome. That is amazing. That is amazing. And this is nothing new. So Course in Miracles was written in the 70s. I'm going to give you a quote now from a Sufi mystic, Hafez, 600 years before Course in Miracles. He called his God my beloved, my favorite name for God, my beloved. My beloved said, my name is not complete without yours. Just to stop there. Does that sound at all familiar? Okay, 600 years before Course in Miracles, and plenty of people said it before Hafez. Truth is true for all people, all cultures, all religions, all everything. It's not historically, we're just going to discover. It's there. My name is not complete without yours. And I thought, how on earth could a human's worth ever be such? And God said, my beloved, address my heart. God even sang, I am made whole by your life. Hafez. I am made whole by your life, Kimmy Lou. I am made whole by your life. Ingrid, Dave, oh my gosh, this is like old home week. I love it. I am made whole by your life. Each soul completes me. My name, the Spirit of the living God, says to you, it is incomplete without you. And without the person you're fighting with right now. And with the person you don't like politically. And with whatever trauma you're going through. I am made whole by your life. Now that's another way well. Talk about wonder and amazement. Can we even begin to take that in? That's how amazing we are. That's what Spirit is saying. And yet somehow, despite that glorious truth, you and I can still somehow get paralyzed by the ego's, at best, silly voices, but they're not silly. They really cause us to suffer. So here's the bottom line. The choice is ours. Which voice are we going to listen to? Like Lauren sang in the song that Ryan sang, are we going to say what you say, God, is what matters? What you say establishes my identity? Or are we going to go back to our little miserable, suffering egos and listen to their relentless, merciless attack on our inherent dignity? It's a choice, A or B. What do we want? If those lies about ourselves aren't bad enough, remember the ego is also lying about our God. Where Hafez calls his God beloved, what do we call our God? Missing in action? What is our God? All of those lies, everything is that hand that hides the radiance, hides the wonder from our eyes. Those two ego lies, our concepts about ourselves, our concepts about our God, they keep us doomed to suffering and misery. But again, we have a choice. Which choice will we make? I'm cheering for all of us, myself included, to choose to listen to our beloved sweet Spirit. If we listen to the beloved sweet Spirit, that will help us learn to live in wonder and amazement. Yes, Antarctica was phenomenal. But if I have to travel 9,879 miles to find wonder and amazement, not to mention the Drake Passage, I'm doomed. My awe, when I was in Antarctica, my awe could be there, and that could help me find it. I'm in Boulder. My awe is right here. My amazement is right here. It's right within you now. True wonder and amazement can never be yesterday. Oh, I wish I was 30. Oh, I wish I had grandchildren. Oh, I wish so-and-so, whatever. No. True awe and amazement, to be spiritual is to be amazed, has to be in this moment right now. The true wonder, the true amazement, my friends, is inside each of you right this moment. If you can't see it, that's okay. Just means you have a hand hiding the radiance. Every spiritual teacher, at least in Unity, is going to tell you this radiance is here for you to be. I and you, all beings, can become more fully alive. We can walk more successfully, more devotedly as children of the divine. Remember what Unity teaches. It's a given in Unity. We are divine in essence. We are divine in origin. We are divine in destiny. Period. No argument. Since God is love, so are we. Period. No argument. That in Unity is the truth that we celebrate. That is our identity, nothing less. That is our identity. Are you living each day, each moment of each day, knowing I am divine in origin, I am divine in essence, I am divine in destiny? It is my privilege to let this divinity shine forth through me as radiance, as kindness, as compassion, as forgiveness, as whatever spirit is guiding you to be in that moment. That's what we're called to be. That's what living the amazement of our spirituality will bring us. I have one more quote I want to close. Not yet, Bonnie, hang on. So many people, if that doesn't sound good enough, they're like, okay, well, this just sounds like airy-fairy. I hear you. I've thought that many times myself. So what I really like the mystics is that these people are people who are actually living what I'm talking about. I'm the talking head. They're actually living it, and they describe for us what life becomes when they start living according to what Spirit says. So this is from Rumi. He's going to show us what's really waiting for us, glories beyond our wildest imagination. This is Rumi. This is how sweet. Let's just stop there. Would you like to be more sweet? Would you like me to be more sweet? This is how sweet and free of fear I feel now in myself. As somebody who has openly struggled with anxiety, like I told you, my whole life, anyone who can live beyond fear is like, I want what you have. Like that, when Harry met Sally, I'll have what he's having. Free of fear, beyond opinion and judgment, undistracted by guilt, I am walking strong and steadily home, not timid or uncertain, with my eyes splendidly clear, no hands, all one pearl of gratefulness, no fear. Let's look at this again. See if there's anything in here that might whet your appetite and entice you, not beat you up, but entice you to say, I want what he has. And all the mystics say the same thing. I just chose Rumi because I did the other quote from Hafez. This is how sweet and free of fear I feel now in myself. I am beyond opinion and judgment. Oh my gosh, if we could go one day beyond opinion and judgment, we'd probably think we died and went to heaven. Beyond opinion and judgment, your own or other people's. Oh, what are they going to think? Oh, undistracted by guilt. Who wouldn't like that? Undistracted by condemnation. I am walking strong and steadily home to love. I'm not timid or uncertain. My eyes are wide open. And I, Rumi, I am, because of my work, because of my spiritual transformation, I have become one radiant pearl of gratefulness. Oh my gosh, wouldn't you like to be that? I would like to be that. Oh my gosh, one gigantic pearl of gratitude, no fear. That's the promise. So my friends, let me close and just say this. To be spiritual is to be amazed. And there is within each of us right now a gigantic world of amazement and wonder just waiting to be discovered. I hope you'll join me in saying yes to this invitation of all these great teachers so that we can see ourselves as God sees us. Because only, I believe, only as we see ourselves as God sees us can we truly live in spiritual amazement.